that night, the stars were bright. Alright, back for another video, yet again like an absolute hero would be. Today, I'm going to be showing you the absolute master Yoda unstoppable force, beyond heroic innuendo of the light mice himself, and the Holy Paladin Guide of Light. From the ancient mice parchment in the absolute depths of Mount Micemore, the light mice has come, and I shall shine forever! Okay. So, first things. Talients. If you want to play H-Pal, the most garbage healer in the entire game that gets out-healed by a rogue, then you need to have the right Talients. First talent, Bestowed Faith Avi. Lights, Hammer, Trash, Crusaders might be on garbage. Bestow Faith, you need it. You can pre-bestow Faith setup, so if you're about to get stunned, you can pre-bestow Faith yourself and have it heal after 5 seconds, and it does more than a Holy Shock, and it costs 1/3 of the mana. 600 mana compared to a 1600 mana Holy Shock, and the Bestow Faith heals for 5,700 when Holy Shock only heals for 4,200. So it's a way better heal than even Holy Shock. So that's the first talent you want to go. Saved by the Lights, next one. And when you play double Beacon, you can get 2 Saved by the Lights on 2 targets, but obviously you can still get that by just swapping Saved by the Light on whatever target. Or Beacon on whatever target. So you can still get that without having double Beacon, but you'd have to swap the Beacon. You'd have to actually, have opposable thumbs, which most people don't playing this game. Third talent, third talent row, you can switch between all these 3. Fist of Justice, Repetience, and Blinding Light. It depends what comp you're playing. With Fist of Justice, you can play that with like Windwalker Mage, but a lot of time you want to play Blinding Light with that too. With like Rogue Mage Pally, you want to usually be Blinding Light because and Warrior Mage Pally. Blinding Light's almost always good unless you're playing with like an S Priest or a Warlock. Then you would go Rep because then you don't have any Poly DRs usually. Or yeah, so you would go Rep because Rep is on Poly DR. So you just switch between those talents based on what comp you're playing. Then next row, I always run Mice Sprint, double Mice Sprint, because the Maestro likes to Mice Sprint across canyons while evil scum and fatty roly-poly tubbles are rolling after him at speeds of light. So double Mice Sprint makes it Mice Sprint! Ah! And I Mice Sprint 3,000 miles an hour, and what you can do with your Mice Sprint is if you put on Crusader Aura, of course they named Crusader Aura after me, the best Paladin game, Crusader. You can put Crusader Aura up and then pop your Mice Sprint, and then you'll be running at 160 speed. Look at how fast I'm running right now. Big damn, Mice Sprint! I just ran so far, holy shit. I have traversed the oceans. But a lot of bad Pallies will run Unbreakable Spirit because they have no idea how to use their wall or any of their cooldowns, so they stand back and backpedal and do absolutely nothing. So, because it reduces the cooldown of your Divine Shield and Divine Protection, so instead of being a minute cooldown, it'll be like a 40-second cooldown. And your bubble will be like a 3-minute cooldown instead of 5. So bad Pallies will run that, but I always run this because I'm always playing offensive comps where I actually have to play good. Then Rule Law is completely useless. Yes, of course the Maestro is the law. Well, oh my god, I'm not Peasant Jones. Peasant Jones. Next row would be Divine Purpios, Holy Avengier, and Seraphium. This is complete trash, only used for rep pallies. Holy Avenger, 3-minute cooldown, not worth it at all. Divine Purpios gives you when you use Holy Power, it has a chance to make you get a free another either Word of Glory or Shield of Righteousness, which is the most useless fucking ability in game. It does nothing. So whenever you use a WOG, World of Glory, you can use a second one and it does extra 20%. So it's by far the best one. And then you pair that with Awakening because when you use Word of Glory, it has a chance to proc Avenging Wrath, and Avenging Wrath is the only time you do healing as an H-Pal. So you need to have both of those. And then the Maestro and every other Pally always runs Beacon of Faith because they're trash and don't know how to swap Beacon themselves. But I use Glimmer of Light with most against most comps because I know how to swap Beacon at the right times, and then I would get extra damage and healing, and I get buff protection. When I have Glimmer of Light, it gives me an extra buff, and when I put it on the target, it gives them an extra buff or to do damage. So whenever I Holy Shock, it does damage to that target and heals whatever target I have Glimmer on. So if you see, it did 1,200 extra healing right there for free. So that's better than having an extra beacon that reduces my, like, so if I'm fighting a let's say I'm fighting S-Priest Windwalker, and they're only single dotting. I mean, most of the time they try to double dot, but they don't really go on like the second target too much. So I can usually just heal that with Wog and then get the main target healed mostly. Like, if I split the healing, then my Divine Toll does way less. Because when I press Divine Toll, it Holy Shocks everything and then gives the main beacon target all the 50% of the healing. But then if I split it with only 30%, I will do 20% less healing on my Divine Toll. So, Beacon of Faith is bad versus most comps. The only time it's good is when you're fighting stuff that you can't afford to swap Beacon too much. So if you're fighting like S-Priest Warlock, it can be good. I don't really like it still, even then. It could be good versus like stuff that you don't have time to swap Beacon and you don't have enough globals. Like sometimes like Rogue Mage or some like broken comp like Rogue Enhancement Shaman that was like one-shotting and you don't even have time to swap Beacon. You just need to already have it on the target. So you could those are like the two situations where you can use Beacon of Faith. But the Maestro, of course, uses Beacon of Light like the absolute gotcha Righteous Crusader hero I am. Then if you go into talents, I literally never switch these out because there's nothing you can even go. Always use Blessed Hands, gives you an extra charge of Blessing of Protection, Blessing of Freedom. The Maestro is a free and god-tiered hero. Divine Favier is still the best one. Ultimate Sack is complete garbage. Only the most trash garbage pal is useless. It's only a 6-second sack now, which is absolute trash. That means you can't even really sack an entire setup. If the pally sacks with this sack, I could actually pre-blinding light this sack and have him sit the entire thing and then hodge him off that and kill him. The regular sack is 12-second sack. And 30% damage. If you preemptively sack at high health, you're almost never going to die through 30% damage reduct. Only if they have like the most insane dam ever and they get really lucky. So regular sack's always better, and then Light's Grace is almost always better. The only time you could switch that out is for Cleanse of the Weak. If you're fighting like S-Priest, Destro Warlock, or Ellie S-Priest or something, you'd use Cleanse of the Weak and you can dispel all the dots at the same time, which is really good. Instead of Blessed Hands, I would go Cleanse of the Weak instead of Blessed Hands. If I fought like an Ellie S-Priest or a Warlock S-Priest or Ellie Warlock, I would use Cleanse of the Weak. But Blessed Hands is even still good in those situations because you still have a Blessing double bop. If you do accidentally go the wrong talents or something, because then you can still bop, like, say they're with the rest of Druid, you can still bop bashes or Freedom Earth Grab Totems or anything. So it's still good to have, even if you accidentally don't go into Cleanse of the Weak. So those are all your talents. Then if you look at gear, what you want to have is all crit. Crit's your best stat by far, because crit, if you crit, it does double your healing, and then that's the only way you survive. And when you have your shock barrier, if you crit, it's with the healing you do with your Holy Shock, it depends on the absorb. So if you do more healing with your Holy Shock, then you're going to get a bit bigger absorb, and you can have this on all 3 targets at the same time. See, I didn't crit there, so I got a half of the absorb. So critting is always better, especially with an H-Pal who does all its healing with crits. And then you want to go Kyrian, Avi, so you have Divine Toll. Only the most awful garbage pallies will go garbage Vampire Venthyr Scum. Cuckbag Scum Venthyr Vampire Evil Dwelling Piglets from the depths of the Mariana Trench. So you obviously want to be a god-tiered angel. Go Kyrian. Get this Club Penguin bitchfuck, Daffy, who gives you the potion. Because you can pre-potion and then if you go into your renown, and you go to Sex Leia. Sex Leia, you sexy little Dixion. This is what I spec into. I obviously don't have all the best condies. Because I can't because Blizzard makes it so you just can't upgrade them because they're communists. But this one's definitely so good. You want Divine Toll is your biggest heal, so you definitely want to have this if you're playing Divine Toll. It has a chance to toll 3 extra times, and that's what does all its healing. This one's really good because when you get swapped to, you're usually above 90% health unless you're getting swapped to, so your party members are going to have an extra 5% health. That's really good for when they get swapped to, especially versus like Rogue Mage and stuff like that. Echoing Blessings is really good because I'm always using Freedom and Blessing and Protections in Sacrifice, so it helps get me an extra Mice Sprint, and reduces Blessing of Sacrifice gets another 10% damage after it fades, which is really good for free dam reduct. Then I go into this one because I gain a 10% shield for my maximum health if I'm out of combat. So at the start of the game, if a Rogue Mage opens on me, I have an extra 10% shield. Really good. This one's really good. I need to upgrade that. It's impossible. Casting Warrior Glory on yourself prevents the damage on yourself. prevents damage equal to 25% of the healing. So every time I cast a Word of Glory on myself, it gives me a 25% absorb shield, which is insanely good. Then I get my Light's Barding of Light, which makes my Divine Steed 85% increase. So when I mice sprint, I have a 6-second mice sprint instead of a 3-second mice sprint. It doubles my mice sprint timing. I think this one's better than this one most of the time, because you just get an extra 4% healing. Whenever you heal an ally above 70% health, you get 4% of the extra healing. 4% extra healing. So that's just a 4% extra healing for free. So it's like having 4% extra versatility. But obviously it doesn't help. It doesn't help you in damage reduction. And then you go into Focus Light, which is 10% more crit on your Holy Shock, which is really good. If I had better condies, then I'd have even better, like more holy crit and more chance to like. Obviously, these would be better. Then I go into my Vial, and this is where this can work out really good, because you can pre-Vial like a setup. If you pre-Vial, it gives you 10% damage reduction. This is only 10% at PvP, but it's still really good. And this makes it so when you use your Vial, it takes all the bleeds and poisons and dots off, which is really good. Not dots, diseases and bleed effects. So if you're fighting like a Feral Druid, you can pre-Vial before you go into a stun, giving you 10% damage reduction and taking off all his bleed, so he's probably not going to kill you in a stun. And then Concentration Aura. I switch between Concentration Aura and Devotion Aura because, like, say if you're fighting an S-Priest team, I start out with Concentration Aura, wait till he uses his Silence setup, and then I swap to Devotion Aura to get an extra 3% damage reduction until he has his Silence back up. So I'm always maximizing my unstoppableness. And with this talent, Concentration Aura, I get 30% reduced fear. So instead of being an 8-second fear, it's only a 5-second fear. It's really good. And then I go into, obviously, this is Light the Path. It gives you extra Critical Strike, which is really good. So always spec into Critical Strike. Then we'll look at, well, for your Trinkets, you switch between BM and Mice Diction. Mice Diction versus comps that aren't going to kill you. And sometimes, if you don't know if the comp's going to kill you, you still run BM just in case. Because you can a lot of times afford not to run with Mice Diction. Say if you're fighting a bitch SG, you might, you probably don't need Mice Diction, and there's so many ways they can stop your Mice Diction as a healer, especially. So instead, you just run BM, so you can pre-BM a setup, and that can help you live. And a lot of times, if you live, you win the game, because it's all about like one shots. So if you live that setup, then you probably win the game. So it's a lot of times, probably like 60% of the games you run BM, switch them out, depending on what the comp is. Say if I'm running into like a Windwalker Mage, if I'm running into a Windwalker Mage Paladin, I wouldn't run BM, probably. Maybe I would, depending on if it's like a scum team that tries to kill you, but usually they wouldn't try to kill the Pally, because then they would get overextended and die. But if they're a good team and you're playing with trash retards, then they can go on your Pally. But what else do I need to go through? I did Italians, Mice Diction, Big Damn Judge, Penguin Bitch Fuck. Did I go? What else do I need to do? I guess that's it, right? Maestro has extremely mice brain right now, and barely can think in general. Very questionable. Yeah, I think that's it. And the Crusader of Light has spoken! And guess what? Sub to the Maestro for all you hold dear in this world. Damn it!